Yo, dude, what
Yo,
up?
what's up? How's it going?
Pretty good. Yeah, dude, Mia Khalifa is just a fucking manipulative liar. She's lied every stage of the way when she's talking about her porn career and everything. And I mean, the crap she said about Jews, she's literally a Nazi. She wants to eradicate all Jews from Earth. Which isn't surprising. She grew up in Lebanon. She's a Hezbollah supporter. She's a Hamas supporter. That's just the culture there. And
I do still feel bad for her with like in the porn stuff. Did she lie about it? Yeah, and I don't think that's justifiable. But I do feel bad for like when she was 16, she's like dating quote unquote this like 23-year-old guy who probably pushed some weird sexual porn stuff onto her based on his own interests into the cuck stuff, right? Like I do feel bad for her there.
well, the thing is, she seemed that only started happening after she was an adult, 18. And secondly, she seemed
Well,
interested
the porn
in it and
stuff,
enjoyed it.
the porn stuff did start after that. Yes, like from a public facing perspective, but who knows what was going on like with them behind the scenes or before that stuff happened?
Well, sure, he probably introduced her into like cuckolding and everything, but the whole story about how she even got into the porn industry, some dude basically scoped her out at a mall and then gave her a card. She never had to take the card, never had to tell her husband about any of this shit. She was clearly personally interested in it. And when you look
Yeah,
at
yeah, for
when you
sure.
look at
I'm
the
just saying
money
her
she was
personal
making
interests may
too.
have been informed by like whatever happened in that relationship.
Yeah, and then when you look at the money she was making doing porn too, she was making very good money. Even though she's lying, claiming she never made any money. And it just makes her story sound all that less sensible. She's claiming, "Oh, I made no money. I only made 12,000. I didn't like any of it. I never wanted to do any of it. I thought it was morally reprehensible." So this is also a woman who claims to be college educated, but is probably lying about her college degree. So
Yeah,
21 years
sure.
old, college educated, claiming I was in a room and they're telling me that I had to sign a contract then and there. And I thought, like, I was only 21 years old. I had only gone to college. It's just complete and utter horseshit. And
Yeah,
again,
she's
when you
not a
look
good
at,
person. She's a liar for sure. No doubt.
yeah, and just a piece of shit. There's a reason why all of her relationships have broken down. It's because she's a piece of shit. I would imagine somebody who wants to exterminate an entire race of people and admires the Nazis probably has a bit of a chip on their shoulder and is probably not the easiest person to get along with. So,
That's true. But maybe they agree with her. You don't know. I'm sure Nazis
yeah,
find true love with other Nazis now and then.
oh, I'm sure. And it really makes you question her current relationship with that jewelry dipshit. But
Right? I mean, like maybe they're on the same page.
yeah,
No, maybe.
yeah. But
It's possible.
I've followed that crap for a while, where she was saying she was manipulated and everything. There's a number of women who've gotten out of porn and start claiming that they were manipulated and crap, and then when you dig into their history, like, they're just clearly fucking lying. They wanted to do it, and then once they got out of it, they didn't have a way to make money, so they're making money doing these media tours and making books and shit, claiming the porn
Yeah, I
industry
mean, she
is so
wasn't.
bad.
She certainly wasn't manipulated. Like she knew what she was getting into. Maybe she couldn't have like foreseen every consequence that would come of it, but she knew at the bare bones that there was like some kind of risk associated, right?
Yeah, like, again,
Mm.
this is an adult who claims to be college educated. She has no excuse, and her excuses make absolutely no sense, and they're contrived.
You've hated her for a while, right? Even before this video, like you've had a
Oh
negative opinion
yeah,
of her for a bit.
I've
Just
known
like, did you
she's a
watch all
lying,
this shit go
manipulative
down?
jackass.
Oh, okay. Did you know what the old posts about Jews and stuff like that, or no?
I didn't know about the old posts, but I have seen the new posts with her public accounts. She's an actual Nazi. So she admires Hitler and the Nazis. She liked that they tried to exterminate the Jews.
Did she
Sh
say that? I didn't see that. I mean, I
well,
know she said
that
her
was in
favorite
the,
moment in history was the Holocaust, but
yeah. You can put two and two together, clearly. StopAntisemitism.org also has an article on her. After she was getting criticism online about supporting Hamas, she got 1943 vintage wine, and I think it was a German wine. And she was talking about how this wine is like sweeter and it's older than your like fake country. She did that intentionally,
Really?
signaling that she supports the Nazis.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
And
she seems
like again,
politically she
we've
seems pretty fucked.
yeah, we've seen the post she's made talking about how she supports Hamas and Hezbollah. She wants to see innocent Jews get killed. She's outright admitted she wants all of Israel and all Israelis to be exterminated. She wants a second Holocaust. She's literally a Nazi.
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, I don't think much is going to come from that because
Yeah, I
she's not exactly a political activist.
well,
But
dude, why would you say you still have sympathy for her? She's literally a fucking Nazi.
what do I have sympathy for her? I have sympathy for people who get groomed.
Well, still, she's a Nazi. She's a piece of
Well, I
shit.
mean, people
I
believe retarded shit at some points in their lives. I'm hopeful that maybe she'll change her mind or something. I mean, she herself hasn't done a Holocaust, right?
well, she wants it to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really awful thing to believe, but she seems to be someone who is informed, unfortunately, by I'm not excusing her beliefs, but she's informed by like negative life experiences. She's a very hateful person. I'm hopeful that someday she'll come around and like change her mind. Like
I
just
doubt
because
it.
somebody's a Nazi doesn't mean I don't feel sympathy for if they got like groomed, in their youth.
Yeah, still. I don't know to what extent, because she's a liar, right? And manipulates everything. Who knows if she actually met this guy when she was 16? Who knows what the relationship was like?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible she lied. I mean, I haven't seen him come out and disagree with her public discussions around it, but yeah, maybe she did lie. But like, I don't have any proof of that. If I'm just going based on like the idea that she did meet him when she was 16, he was 23, I think that's pretty fucked up. I feel bad for her.
Well, again, considering that her lies expand and get greater over time, the further from the event when she's talking about them, who knows? Weird, inappropriate, certainly, and probably bad to have a relationship with a 16-year-old when you're 23. Who knows, though? But she is a scumbag of a human being.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I still feel sympathy for scumbags sometimes. There's a point when they're completely irredeemable, but
I think
with
at
Mia
this point
Khalifa, I
she's
feel like,
irredeemable. She's, what, in her 30s now?
yeah, she is. I mean, but if she did like, I don't know, repent or something, for her crazy beliefs and stuff like that, like I wouldn't say she should be like held responsible in perpetuity for that forever. I wouldn't blame anyone who was like affected by her lies or whatever for like not wanting to forgive her, but like I'm not personally invested in her. I don't know her.
Yeah, I think she absolutely should be deplatformed and criticized to the ends of the earth for her Nazi
Why
beliefs.
deplatformed?
Well, she's literally a Nazi.
Um, yeah, but is she actively like calling for genocide every day right now, calling for death?
Pretty much. Look, she supports Hamas. If you had somebody who openly advocated for the Nazi regime, would you say that is advocating for a genocide in perpetuity?
If they're on Twitter saying, or some other social media platform saying, we need to kill all Jews, I would say that person, like, I'd be okay with them being banned.
Well,
Yeah.
let's say they don't say I want to kill all Jews. They just say I support the Nazi regime.
No, I don't think they should be banned. No.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
How is that any different?
Well, they're not explicitly calling for violence. I don't
That
think
is an
social media
explicit call for
companies,
violence. The Nazi regime and ideology is an
by
inherently
definition,
violent regime.
but by definition, is an explicit call for violence. And I don't want social media companies to decide what we can and can't say in general. I just don't trust them.
But
To
the
do
point
diligence.
the point I'm saying is that is an explicit call for violence. Like, let me give you another example. Who is that crazy kid?
To be clear, I understand what you're saying, that Nazis believe in inherently violent genocidal ideology. I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think it should be banned.
Well,
For saying you support a side, even if that side is really disgusting and violent,
well,
unless
you're
the
saying
one specifically calling for that.
So you're saying you don't support calls for violence, and you're saying that should be a bannable offense, correct?
Explicit, very explicit calls, yes.
Okay, so how is supporting a regime that explicitly supports violence, and we're talking about with Nazi regimes, they explicitly want to eradicate all the Jews. How is supporting the Nazi regime not an explicit call for violence?
Because that's inexplicit by definition. You're not saying it out loud.
But that's what it is.
I mean, in effect, like practically speaking, yeah. But once again, like I don't.
Well, there's no difference. If so, who is that?
There's no difference, maybe in like consequence, like practically speaking, but from the perspective of like social media companies, I don't care for them to ban people for that. I'm not like, once again, I'm not like a politically motivated person. I'm kind of like indifferent to this kind of stuff. Like I kind of, as long as she's not saying go kill every Jew right now, I don't really care.
So
I mean, I would still be when I say I don't care, I think you should criticize it. I just don't care to ban her. If she got banned, I wouldn't feel bad for her. I wouldn't defend her, but I'm not going to go out and be like, go ban that person.
So I'm just wondering, there was that crazy incel kid, the Supreme Gentleman.
Elliot Rodger, yeah.
Yeah. He went out, killed, I think, 11 people, most of them women. If somebody were posting online saying, I support Elliot Rodger, you don't think that's... And they're also maybe explicitly stating they support incel ideology and what, Elliot Rodger did. You don't think that in and of itself is a call for violence?
In and of itself, I mean, it is kind of a endorsement of violence, I would say, for sure. But I would rather like the FBI investigate them than like Twitter, be like, you can't say that publicly. Also, a lot of people will say shit like that for a joke because I think it's funny.
Given that we know the context of what Mia Khalifa is saying, we know it's not a joke.
Let's assume it's not a joke. Should they be banned for saying I support Elliot Rodger? I don't really think so. Not really.
Really? So the only time you would ever ban somebody is if they say we should kill Jews or we should kill women. If they say they support some sort of regime or individual that does kill Jews or does kill women, you don't think that's a bannable offense?
Yeah, I think they should be allowed to say what they think, yeah.
What's your interest in protecting people on these social media platforms that openly advocate for like Nazism?
What's my interest in it? Well, it goes for basically any extremist ideology. I think it's just the idea that I think people should be able to say what they think, almost no matter how controversial. To me, like, unless it is like breaking the law, which an explicit call for violence is, I don't think it really should be bannable.
Well, So banning on social media is separate from free speech. You realize that?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. The strongest case I would make for it would be like it could negatively reflect the platform as a whole and get advertisers to pull out.
Which is what happened.
From that perspective. Yeah, so from that perspective, I would probably support it, but I wouldn't support it on like a moral, like finger waggy type thing. But
have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 2?
No.
All right. There was an interesting concept in that game, and it has come true, basically. There's this AI computer system that was generating memes and posting things on the internet and social media to alter public opinion on certain topics so that it could guide humanity into supporting certain political regimes, supporting certain economic policies, because the AI realized this was the easiest way to control humanity. And the Chinese government knows this, the Russian government knows this, the American government knows this. This is why there's disinformation campaigns by the Chinese Communist Party, by Russia, and this is why the United States government has also tried to encourage companies like Facebook to stop some of these Russian and Chinese bot accounts, stop the spread of disinformation. So things like the COVID vaccine was a big topic. Stuff about Israel, Palestine, disinformation was being spread about that, where there were fake photos of like Israeli soldiers pointing their guns at Palestinian kids.
I think like botnets should definitely be banned.
So,
but individuals for the
just
most part, should be able to say what they think.
Just like knowing that this sort of disinformation can affect human beings and affect the political landscape, do you really want to see social media platforms allow Nazi content to spread and potentially become popular, and then it becomes commonplace to have Nazi ideology be supported?
In an ideal world, no. My main contention is just that I don't necessarily trust the social media companies when they have that power and are encouraged consistently to ban certain types of people, will not then turn that on like clearly less harmful, less offensive people. In an ideal world where everything was perfect, would I say like ban every Nazi? Yes, obviously. But the problem is like my definition and like the literal definition of Nazi versus like what certain people think is a Nazi or could be a Nazi is a lot different.
Okay, well,
Sure. Give me one more second. My problem is that I feel like by encouraging social media companies and like pressuring them publicly to like ban, some people who are actual Nazis, I think the problem that we could lead to is that people who, and it has happened in the past, where people who aren't Nazis or aren't really that bad then get banned from social media platforms for rather benign stuff based simply on the idea that there could be associations or it could be associated, right? Once again, I understand the argument behind advertisers, and I think, companies legally can do what they want, but I'm talking about my opinion,
Right. Let's just say Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, they only had a policy with regards to banning Nazis that unless you explicitly state, I support the Nazi regime, they will ban you. Would that be a policy you support?
Okay, so sorry,
we're just to clarify, we're not talking about anybody saying, yeah, I'm not sure if
my streaming software just disconnected for a second. I'm just making.
Oh.
Are we still going, chat? Sorry, I do have a good answer here though. Let me just check, make sure we're still live.
Yeah, they're saying yeah.
Okay, we are live. Okay, base. Yeah. So your question was to restate it was if social media companies had a policy which was that we will only ban
explicit Nazi propaganda. Or content.
Explicit Nazi propaganda, right.
So let's say that was the case. Yeah, so let's say if you're saying, if you're spreading known misinformation about the Holocaust, so there's no way that they could have killed 6 million Jews, it was only like 200,000, or you were explicitly stating the Nazi regime was good or I support it, would you support a policy like that?
In a perfect world where I thought that would never be encroached on and there was no future in which that could like go beyond that scope, yes.
Okay, well, just so you're aware, YouTube does have that policy. Would you?
Yeah, I'm aware that they do.
Do you think they're upholding that policy well so far?
I don't really know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, do you know anybody in particular or have heard anybody of being banned from the platform for spreading Nazi propaganda when they didn't, in fact, spread Nazi propaganda?
Do I know of anybody who has been spreading Nazi propaganda when they didn't, in fact, spread Nazi propaganda? No.
So
But not
from your own point of view and your own knowledge, their policies have been effective so far at stopping Nazis from being on the platform, spreading Nazi propaganda, and
yes, they have.
No one so far.
Yes, obviously, yes, I agree with that. The main problem with what I'm taking up with this idea is this slippery slope argument, which I do believe in, which is that social media companies could become more and more aggressive with bannings. I mean, on one hand, you will have like stuff like that, people getting banned for that. But then you'll have like there have been multiple YouTubers like Leafy or Monkey Jones who, from my perspective, have been unjustifiably banned from the platform when they didn't really do anything that bad. And they weren't banned for like, political content or misinformation stuff, to be clear. They were banned for other stuff. But the incursion of like bannings in general at a mass scale, I feel like is a major problem and potential detriment to creators. These are, the two people I named are like big creators who arguably one of them may have broken TOS, but I don't think he broke it in a harmful way.
You mean Monkey Jones or Leafy?
Leafy.
I'm not familiar with Monkey Jones. So this is my own personal perspective. I don't know what the exact motivation for YouTube banning Leafy was. He had an insanely toxic community. I think it had more to do with his community than his actual videos that he uploaded.
Yeah, he had a pretty toxic community, yeah, but I think you should be allowed to have a toxic community on YouTube. But, once again, I respect their motivation to protect their advertising bottom line and prevent another adpocalypse to ban him. I get it. He's a bad look, but I still don't, I don't like what happened.
Yeah. So outside of like the moral issue of like this speech on, social media topic, there's obviously practical reasons why there has to be this kind of moderation on the platform so that it can actually be monetizable.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately YouTube's like, I don't think YouTube has like a moral motivation to ban or not ban anyone. It's just, it's the bottom
I think they do. I don't think,
you think
these
they
people,
do? Like
I have a hard time believing.
They care?
So I have a hard time believing that the people running these corporations are just purely cynical bean counters who don't care about their reputation, don't care about the moral impact of anything they're doing. I do think to some extent they don't want to see Nazis on their platform just because they don't like Nazism, they don't want to see it spread, and they feel like they do have a social responsibility for that thing. But at the same time, there is also that practical consideration.
I don't think they're purely cynical bean counters, but I think their main priority is the bean.
Well, of course.
Ultimately.
Well, of course.
Like because they're a business,
Oh, of course.
Like every person is a person. They're not robots. But I still think the bottom line is their bottom line.
Either way you look at this, I think we can agree, morally speaking, it is ideal to ban content that is supporting Nazi ideology.
Yeah, of course.
And we have, in fact, seen the outcome of social media platforms that don't do this. Twitter. It's losing money. It's probably going to go belly up pretty soon. Elon Musk just keeps getting new investors.
Twitter has been crazy recently.
Well,
yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I like it just because I like to see the chaos, but from like a business perspective, it's like it's sliding into the ocean.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see the degeneracy going on that platform, the amount of misinformation, the amount of bots that are on the platform spreading Chinese propaganda, Russian propaganda, Nazi propaganda. From both a moral perspective and just a business perspective, it's completely and utterly unsustainable. And even if we were just looking at this from a moral perspective, whether or not people should be able to say certain things online, I don't think we want to live in a society, even if it was economically viable, where this sort of disinformation and hate speech should be spread. We don't want, an entire generation of people adopting Nazism or adopting pro-Chinese propaganda where, we think we need to dismantle capitalism, overthrow the United States, not intervene in Taiwan, allow fascist dictators to
I
maintain
agree.
control.
I'm not so alarmist about it. I don't think we're at a major risk of that right now.
Well,
But
we're not
yeah, I mean,
because
obviously,
these
the majority of
platforms are
people being
actually
Nazis is not
doing
good.
something about it for the most part.
Um, yeah, but I mean, I think the argument could also be made that I like to see people like that have conversations with people who are like rational, informed, and intelligent to like see their arguments debunked. I don't like the idea that the instant answer to all of that kind of stuff is like shut it down and never hear from it again. Maybe it is the most effective thing.
That is that. So yeah, that's the problem though. These communities are very isolated and they know exactly what they're doing and they deliberately try to avoid those sorts of debates. Look at Nick
Yeah.
Fuentes. Many people have tried to debate Nick Fuentes on the Holocaust. A friend of mine, Dr. Avi, who's extremely smart guy, he's debated this topic with well-known anti-Semites and neo-Nazis. Nick Fuentes won't engage. Most of these people, once they know their arguments are going to be debunked and defeated, and their own audience is going to see this, and they know they're going to lose followers and support afterwards, they're not going to. So ultimately, the onus really is on these social media platforms. In an ideal world, if these people were willing to engage in, the debate sphere, this wouldn't really be a problem because, all the dumb ideas would just get defeated and everybody would see it. But that's not what happens. These communities are isolated. They get their own groups and they become radicalized and they end up slowly spreading. And the only solution to this I see is content moderation.
I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately the companies are going to do that anyway. So I guess we kind of live in the vegan gains perfect world, right?
It's not exactly perfect, but I would say this is the closest we can get right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let me think. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
How's lifting going?
Pretty good. I have plateaued in terms of weight. I'm currently 185, and I've had a hard time getting past that. I think I need to start counting my like calories and doing my macros properly, but I've just been too lazy to do it, honestly. But I do got to get onto that at some point. But apart from that, I mean, good. It's been good.
All
Yeah.
right. You might also want to. Do you do any kind of tracking? Like you log your workouts?
No, no.
You should probably do that too. One of the reasons why you might be getting a plateau is just due to not enough volume. So you may just need to
Okay.
do more work over time.
Gotcha. How's lifting going for you?
Not too bad. I think I strained my tricep tendon, so I've had to take a few days off. It's better now. Don't know if I can like bench press and crap just yet, but I should be able to do most of my training.
Right.
And
It's not like a serious thing. You didn't have to go to the hospital or anything.
No. Yeah, and I did just bench 410 pounds a few weeks ago.
Jesus. Nice. Were you when we hung out and did the video, what were you benching then? Like 360, 370?
My best bench at that time was 380.
Okay, gotcha. I don't remember if you like did a 1 rep max when we were doing the video, but yeah, cool. All right. Well,
All right, man. Take care.
yeah, good luck. And when I'm going to India, like in like 2 days, so I won't be around streaming for a bit. But when I get back, let's try to get that debate stream set up.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be
All right,
fun.
awesome.
All right, man. See ya.
Take it easy, brother.